You want to get rid of guide dogs, sniffer and bomb disposal dogs, police dogs, working sheep dogs, all dogs.
What's going to happen to these dogs?
Yes, no, not really. That's quite a broad sweep of.
But they all fall under your umbrella of dogs that have not given consent to do highly valuable work. I mean, that is your all-encompassing role, right?
Well, my point is that, you know, I'm very uncomfortable with the idea that we use animals. You know, we've used animals for a long time, and back, you know, war horses and pigeons and dogs in rockets and things like that. And I want to obviously get away from the fact of us using animals for our benefit, use being the operative word. But
do you think these dogs are unhappy? Do you think that guide dog is unhappy doing what it's doing?
No, I don't think that at all. And I actually, you know, feel that, you know, they're not unhappy, and
so
it's not actually being cruel in a way of vivisection is cruel, halal meat is cruel.
Because you say that when we're using them without their consent and that we actually using them, that it suggests that they're doing something that they're being coerced or forced to do that would make them miserable. But that's clearly not the case.
There's a big difference between a guide dog and a dog that has been forced into a dangerous situation. You know, like a police dog or.
So you don't want to ban guide dogs, you want to ban bomb disposal sniffer dogs?
Yeah, and I don't actually want to ban guide dogs. I actually feel that there's a couple of issues with the welfare of them, but actually, apart from that, for the human benefit, I think that surely some kind of modern technology can take over and benefit every blind person, because at the moment, a dog does not suit every blind person.
What are your welfare issues with guide dogs?
The welfare issues are probably twofold. The first is that they are bred specifically for the programme, and the 25%, I think I'm right in saying 25% of them that don't make the grade, those pups then have to be rehomed. And they're going into a system which is already bursting full of dogs that need to find a new home. So that's overloading the rehoming problem. The other thing is the concern as to what happens when the dog isn't working and retired. Not every guide dog owner can keep that dog.
So your issue isn't it with the guide dogs which are working as guide dogs without their consent, as you say? It's with all the guide dogs which are not working as guide dogs. That doesn't make
No. It's the whole welfare issue around it, and also the waiting list. I spoke to a lady the other day. The waiting list. She says I'm on a waiting list for 1.5 years for a guide dog. So obviously something's going wrong.
So we need more guide dogs?
No, we need new technology so that every visually impaired person
I'm losing the plot here.
Can have
So there's not enough
guidance.
guide dogs, but there's too many guide dogs. I've lost it. Nigel.
It's simple.
Do guide dogs love working
Actually, it's not simple. So what's the answer, Nigel, to this?
I think there's a great answer, and it's already in place. I mean, technology would be great if it were there, but it just isn't there. So at the moment, it's the best thing, but it isn't. So at the moment, what we've got in place is amazing organisations training up these dogs, working so many hours a week to get these dogs well behaved. And the guide dogs only work about a few hours a day. So all the other dogs are on the dole. These dogs are happy. These dogs are working. And it's really lovely to see. And on that video, the partnership of that lady and the dog, there's so many amazing partnerships and beautiful stories that are created from these service
But what
dogs.
about when the dog retires and it can't stay with the owner because the owner wants another guide dog, maybe?
There's
no room in the house for the original guide dog.
There's loads of things that happen. Some of the dogs stay with the owner as a pet. Sometimes they're rehomed with family members. Sometimes they're back with the people who looked after them when they were puppies. But the Guide Dog Association, in this instance, always finds a loving home for the dog. That's their number one.
Do you have a dog?
Yes, I do. My dog
what dog do you have? Hang on.
If my dog got to 9 years old, he would hate
What dog have you got? What is that dog?
She is a rescue dog from Paws to Rescue, and I found her in Bucharest about to be killed.
Right.
Brought her in.
And have you trained your dog?
Well, not
Have you tried to?
excessively, no.
Have you tried to train your dog?
Only to sit.
Only to sit. Did you get consent for that? I'm serious.
A lot of it's for her safety as well.
But did you get the dog's consent? Your dog's consent to sit?
There's
to obey your human orders?
Cruelty.
What?
I'm not bothered about that.
You're talking about consent. You have a big issue with dogs consenting. My argument is everybody in the world
but to be
trains
put in a
their dog.
dangerous situation.
You trained your dog to sit without getting any consent from that dog.
No, you're
to
just
perform
making
that
a big
function.
sweeping statement because...
I'm exposing the hypocrisy of your statement.
No, you're not at all, because
do you ride
dogs
horses?
who are put...
Do you ride horses?
Dogs who are...
Do you ride horses?
No. Dogs...
Have you ever ridden horses?
Yes.
Right.
But I plod through a forest. I do not
Did you
put
get
that
the horse's
horse
consent?
in a dangerous situation.
Did you get your horse's consent to ride through the forest on it?
You're totally off the argument.
Did you ask the question? Answer the question.
No, you're completely off the argument.
Did you ask your horse's consent to ride through the forest?
Well, seeing as he doesn't speak
You
human,
clambered on top of your
couldn't.
horse, right? And you charged along on top of it without any consent.
In potentially dangerous situations, to be fair to that horse.
No, because I'm a responsible rider and a responsible dog owner.
Because you're responsible, then it's fine to not get consent.
No, you're really, really mixing up the issue.
Am I? You said it's about consent.
It's partly about consent.
So if it's partly about consent...
There's a big issue around it.
Partly about consent, unless it's your animals and you're riding them or you're ordering them to do things, in which case consent goes out the window because you, Wendy, have decided you know better than the animal and they don't need to give you their consent.
Well, I know whether or not I'm putting my animal or any animal in a potentially dangerous or vulnerable situation.
Right, so because you're a sort of saintly figure when it comes to your animal ownership, we should all relax. Yeah?
Maybe.
Nigel, does Wendy have a point about animals which are genuinely in very dangerous situations, in war zones, for example?
Yes, but what is the alternative again? And if there is an alternative, like machines, which they do get to go in there, then fantastic. And I think they would rather do that, but it's about a cost thing.
But again, it's cost as opposed to a sentient being.
Oh, you know what, Wendy? Why don't we just let guide dogs do their fabulous work for people who are blind and rely on them and can then get out and about because of their guide dogs? The guide dogs always look happy to me. The people that they're helping look happy to me.
They seem to thrive on it.
Why don't you just continue riding your horse without its consent?
Telling your
dog what to do without its consent, and leave
sit.
people who are blind to have the dogs that help them.
I want everyone who is blind to be able to be guided, and I think the future of that is in developing technology.
All right.